11.
Hello everyone. Before we talk about how to play the game, we need to talk about how you even get to play it. You can buy it on the PS2 and play it on a CRT if you wish. If you want a digital official version, you can buy the Japanese version on the PS3 as of 2024. You still can. All you need to do is to make a Japanese account. It's not difficult. Just grab a random address from Google Maps and Google Translate your way through the process, and there you go. Oh, and to purchase games you need to buy Japanese yens on PSN. You can just buy gift cards on websites like PlayAsia. The game is around 1000 yen. You can also buy other Japanese only SNK games like Fatal Fury Dominated Mind or KOF 94 about while at it. I don't download because I already have it. While KOF 11 is quite different from other entries, many of the legacy mechanics still apply. Running, rolls, backdash, hops, hyper jumps and hyper hops, guard cancels, special and super cancels. KOF 11 is the only game in the series to use 5 buttons instead of 4. It goes like this: A. Light punch, B. Light kick, C. Heavy punch, and D. Heavy kick. In 2003 the iconic blow-off attack or CD was removed. Because CD was used to shift with the third character, the blow-off attack, also known as a thrust attack by the manual, is now the new E button. It works the exact same way. Some characters have other uses for it, like special moves or follow-ups, but they are very trash. In KOF you can do link combos and chain combos, but the main way to combo in KOF has generally been to cancel into command normals, aka a normal with a directional input, or special moves. The most known combo structure that applies to nearly every game in the series is normal, into command normal, into special move, and if the special is super cancelable, why not, into super as well. When you get your hands with a character, what you have to do first is to figure out what is cancelable with them. Does this light punch cancel into command normal and combos? Does this fast C cancel into super? It is self-explanatory, but there are some ways to make it easier. Some specials have inputs that overlap with supers, let's say DPs. They often share the first 2 inputs of a super, meaning you just have to do the rest of the motion to cancel successfully, which is a lot easier than doing it from scratch while the special move is active. In other cases though you will have to just do that. There are other shortcuts as far execution goes, like holding the buttons at the end of the motion, but we have to get to the main event. The mechanic that makes many people call this game SNK's take on a Marvel game. KOF 11 has in common with Marvel vs. Capcom just 2 things. They are 3 vs 3 fighters, and they are tag fighters. That is it. 11's appeal is way different from the versus games entirely. For example, your characters do not regain health when you shift them away from battle. You do not have air combos or assist/strikers to help during a fight. Rather than focusing on very long combos, 11 focuses in stun combos when using the mechanic. Fun fact: KOF 11 is the only game in the series with a visible stun meter. Unlike super bars, this is a bar that fills over time. It takes 8 seconds for each gauge. It is mainly used for shifts, but there are exceptions. One exception is the aforementioned super cancel from a special. To shift a character in, you have to press either both punch buttons or both kick buttons. Very straightforward. Punches bring the second character in, and kicks bring the third character in. This causes a pseudo-taunt state in which a character is vulnerable, but is the easiest way to bring in a character. So you need to be mindful of when you use it, like when your enemy is leaving a lot of distance, or when you knock out a character. This one also does not cost any skill gauge. This is the tool you use to extend your combos. It costs 1 skill gauge, and is done the exact same way, except you do it during an attack. First, a few rules: it can only be done with ground attacks, no jump attacks whatsoever, meaning again, no air combos. This includes moves that start on the ground, but it's done once your character leaves the ground, will not work. It cannot be done during throws or with projectiles. Even close-range projectiles will not work. Certain moves may not look like they have these properties, but they do. So you may have to do some trial and error with some moves. Otherwise nearly every type of move works. Lights, heavens, command normals, target combos, recaps, blow-off attack, multi-hit super. When a character quick shifts they are of course in jump state, and they can arrive with a jump attack which then you can link with a ground attack. You can also just simply land. When you quick shift a move, the properties of the move used are kept. For example, if you use that EP to quick shift, the enemy will still be launched. Be mindful of the type of combo you want to do, whether is a juggle, which is harder to do, but harder for the opponent to get out of, or a ground combo, which is straightforward but more palatable. When getting hit, you can use a saving shift. It will bring the second or third character in with an automatic attack to knock a character away from you. It costs 2 skill gauges. However, similar rules to the quick shift apply. You can only break out of moves when on the ground, meaning it will not save you from getting juggled. It does not protect you from projectiles or throws. It is also not unpunishable. Similar story, it costs 2 skill gauges as well, and it has a similar function to the traditional guard cancel. This one can protect you from projectiles. Needless to say, all the shift mechanics go away when you only have one character left. Just like in any other KOF game, your access to meters increases with each character down. With all 3 you have up to 3 bars, with only 2 you have up to 4 bars, and with only 1 character you have up to 5. KOF 11 has a 99 seconds timer. In 11 the character with the health lead does not automatically win. It takes more into account your hits and opponents defeated. Each you can see on the top how the indicator goes back and forth in each player's side. Whichever side is on will be the winner when time is up. This change likely was done due to 2003 having a 60 seconds timer, which leads to almost always being close to timeouts, even when both players are playing as aggressive as possible. After selecting the characters, the game will allow you to select your leader. It is differentiated by having a green life bar. The leader generates 50% in favor of the judgment indicator, but leaders also have a bigger penalty if you lose them. But let's not talk about the boring stuff. Your leader has access to what is known as a leader move, or an LDM. This is known on other games as an HSDM, near max, or a climax in other games in the series. It costs 2 bars of meter, and can be performed at any time, no need to drop at low health. 11 follows the trend of games like Mark of the Wolves of trying to make some inputs easier. LDMs have generally easy inputs, and they are all basic motions using the E button, almost universally for all characters with some exceptions. The most iconic mechanic from the game, at least in the Legion community. In other games in the series this is known as Max or Climax Cancel, but without a doubt Dream Cancel is its most known name. This mechanic allows you to cancel a super into another super, in this case into a leader move. The Dream Cancel costs 1 skill gauge on top of the super meter bars you already need. The game received a port on the PS2. It plays largely the same, with very small differences. Even glitches remain the same. It comes with challenges for single player content, modes that allow you to play the traditional way without shift mechanics, new stages, character edit, more music, a training mode and more characters. Without a doubt the roster of KOF 11 is the main draw for many to this entry in the series. So many wild choices, but even more so wild exclusions. Many which were not received with a pleasant response, so many were added to the console version, as well as others. These characters were directly taken from Neo Geo Battle Carlasium, without proper optimization apparently, which caused these characters to have very strange hitboxes and questionable stun values. These characters are often banned in tournaments for these reasons, but also because the PS2 version is rarely used. Many console ports change the balance a little bit, or leave it unchanged, but KOF 11 is able to have the best of both worlds. In the game settings you can switch it from arcade to arrange. This changes the game in many different ways. Damage and stun values are normalized to fit more a home console fighting game instead of the arcade damage. Similar to how 2002 Unlimited Match has a more normalized damage compared to vanilla 2002. There are bug fixes that for some reason do not carry over to the arcade version, even though they 100% should. Like many balance changes, it is met with criticism. While some weaker characters got buffs, and strong characters got some nerfs. The arrange mode removes a good deal of the OTGs and anywhere juggles. This version is very unexplored as it was seemingly made to be a more consumer-friendly one. This is proven by the fact that Magaki is far easier to beat, meaning no one really knows all the changes made. One last thing. The 3D stages only appear on matches if you have a range balance activated, but you can still train on them with arcade balance. Earlier I mentioned this was the best of both worlds, but I don't know if I quite feel this way. On one hand, you are given the option to play the game you like better. You have more casual experience that competitive players can completely ignore and enjoy the game regardless. On the other hand, you have buffed low tier characters, necessary bug fixes, new stages that arcade fighters don't have access to. They are able to enjoy the arranged soundtrack just the same. But the fact that they are not able to play at the concert stage, it locks them out from experiencing Athena's and Dark King's themes outside of training mode. And then it stopped sounding like the best of both worlds. When I thought of it, if the game gets re-released, it would be cool if it gets the Super Turbo treatment. To be able to pick characters from both balances at a time. Like being able to form a team with Arcade Gato, Arrange Momoko and Arrange Terry. Being able to use the new 3D stages, and implementing the bug fixes. Like for real, there is no reason for arcade players to put up with unblockable meters, Kasumi to keep lowering, stun during hurricanes, and ducking being stronger on one side of the screen, just to be faithful to the arcade. You might somehow get the impression I've been playing this game my whole life. And no. I started to play fighting games more in recent years in my adulthood, like trying to understand them for real this time. KOF XI is the one that became my favorite fighting game of all time. Unfortunately, despite being loved by many who played it, not enough people have actually played it. Likely due to the fact that it is in an old console. Even getting digitally is a bit of a hassle, which is why I included it in the video. I made this video thinking of what I would like to know when I first played the game. I'm probably not good enough at the game to be making tutorials about it. But I will do it anyway. Otherwise no one will. Well, you can wait for more videos regarding the topic, maybe going deep into many mechanics. But for now, goodbye.